Good afternoon. This is Friday, June 25th, 2021. This is week 4 or day 28 post-shoulder surgery for me. I have plans to create different videos based on topics I think that will help you. Make sure you comment below and you let me know what would help you. What topics do you want to see? If you find this information helpful, make sure you like and subscribe. It'll get it out to other people. So in this video, we're going to go over physical therapy, good and bad news, unfortunately, home physical therapy, a recovery workout, and general wellness. So unfortunately, my physical therapist was out of town for an extended period. And so instead of going to see an assistant or another physical therapist, we just banked those sessions. It left a little bit of a gap. Regular physical therapy is 2 days a week. And right now we're just doing PROM or passive range of motion. Most likely that passive range of motion physical therapy will be done through week 6, so another 2 weeks. The biggest goal that I have right now is to gain ranges of motion and to become more comfortable getting into those ranges of motion. In order to see where the range of motion for my right shoulder should be, we actually tested the range of motion for my left shoulder. And when we did, we ran into a little surprise. I have some pain in my left shoulder. I didn't really notice that I had pain before because I'd had pain in my right shoulder on and off for the past 8 months. And that's been my focus. I haven't really felt much pain in my left shoulder. But as we were doing the testing, when I went into adduction, I started feeling a little pain at about 90 degrees. And I'm supposed to be getting at about 120. I started feeling a little bit of pain when I got to my full range of motion and flexion, and unfortunately I only got to 158 degrees in that range. So what we're supposed to do is get to about 180 degrees in flexion. I felt that pain in my supraspinatus region. My physical therapist told me that I'm predisposed to having supraspinatus issues because of the lack of range of motion in my flexion or going overhead. It being at 158 degrees, what that basically means is that I can't use my skeleton to lock out overhead with heavier weights. I have to use my muscles more, and that's not biomechanically the most efficient way to work. So when I'm doing things like handstand push-ups, overhead presses, jerks, things like that, so when I'm in those positions, I'm not in the best mechanical position. So the good news is on day 26, I had even better range of motion. I was able to get into full extension of that elbow forearm. I had 120 degrees of abduction, 170 degrees of flexion, and the biggest improvement for me this week was 85 degrees of external rotation. The crazy thing is that all of those are better than my left arm right now. So currently, my right arm has better mobility than my left arm. Home physical therapy, simple plan, twice daily with my wife. We try to do once in the morning and once in the evening. And we're doing those same PROM exercises, passive range of motion exercises, abduction, flexion, extension, and external rotation. So I'm doing shoulder elevation or shrugs, scapular retraction with depression, shoulder circles, and I'm squeezing that ball. So right now I do have a pulley, but we're not using it. I know a lot of people also do pendulum exercises, but I'm not doing those either. Right now, I'm getting really good range of motion without either one of those. So my physical therapist said, hey, let's just leave it where it's at. Caution, please make sure that you've cleared any and all of these exercises with your physical therapist and or surgeon before attempting. So for working out, daily, I'm walking, moving, standing on a regular basis. Think about this. If you have a full exercise routine throughout the week, you're usually preferencing your legs some days, then your core, and then your upper body. But right now, I can't do any upper body exercises at all. So the only thing that I have is to do a little bit of legs, a little bit of core, and a little bit of cardio. I'm super limited with my cardio. I can really only walk and ride a stationary bike. And for me, walking doesn't get my heart rate up past about 80. So really for me, the only cardio that I can get is stationary bike. So the things that I'm doing are the stationary bike, a few isometric exercises, and this week I was able to actually add air squats. So my physical therapist approved those and I was really happy about that. I programmed a workout based on those 3 movements. 5 rounds of 1500 meter bike erg or stationary bike, 45 seconds of unbroken hollow holds, and 20 air squats. So an example of unbroken is when I'm doing a hollow hold and I lift both my feet and my shoulders off of the ground at the same time, and I hold it there for 45 seconds straight without letting my feet or my shoulders go back to the ground. If I come down, that's breaking, and that's okay. But for me, in this workout, I'm doing a 45-second unbroken hollow hold. You have to make sure with your air squats that your sling isn't hitting your thigh. One good thing that you can do is that you can be in front of a rack or an upright of some sort, or a doorway, anything that you can hold on to where you can do those air squats, and if you need assistance or if you might fall back, that you can do that. So I'm not going to go into all the mechanics of an air squat, but I will say, try to be on the middle of your foot. You don't want to be too far on your toes, you don't want to be too far on your heels. Especially on your heels with a sling, we don't want you to fall. If you have the weight in the middle of your feet, then you're in a good spot. Slightly turn out your knees and squeeze your glutes to extend. This particular workout, you're going to have a time domain of about 20 to 30 minutes depending on your fitness level. I did it in about 23 minutes. You can easily modify this workout. One easier example would be instead of the stationary bike, just walk. Walk 100 meters. Do some couch hollow holds for about 10 seconds. And then try half squats. So instead of going down 90 degrees, go down about 45 degrees. Another example more in the middle would be a 500 meter stationary bike, 20 to 30 seconds of hollow holds, unbroken if you can, and maybe 10 air squats. So for general wellness, fortunately for the last 2 weeks, I haven't had any pain, meds, and I haven't used any ice packs. One of the things that I have noticed is whenever I sit or lay around more, I don't feel as good. So when I stand and I move around more, I feel a lot better. Fortunately, I'm getting better sleep and I'm having fewer disturbances. I'm finding a spot where it's a little bit better for me. That's laying more on my back. I'm not a back sleeper, but I'm getting used to it. And I can wedge my sling in between a pillow and the bed. And if I stay in that position for a while, it's pretty good. One of the things that I did this week too is that for the first time, I took my arm out of the shower sling that I have and I draped it to my side. I was able to take a shower pretty comfortably. It was fine. But I still prefer having that shower sling because I can use both hands together a lot more easily, and it just feels a little more comfortable and a little more secure. That's all I've got for you today. See you soon.